Welcome back, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto, and you are watching Coast to Coast here on Fox Business Network. I want to take you to Cleveland right now, where they're getting ready for apparently a big debate that's scheduled for Thursday, readying the scene for what will be 10 podiums. We don't know who will have that 10th spot. Actually, the 9th and 10th spots are kind of dicey right now, but we do know that they are getting ready for this. And in a dramatic departure from form, they've announced it will be a sing-along. You were paying attention. It will not be a sing-along. But that would be kind of interesting if it were. Obviously, Donald Trump will have the pole position, as they say, because he is the candidate garnering the most attention. And right now, the highest poll numbers. And what's more, his negatives have dropped precipitously. So maybe a rich business guy can resonate with the electorate. Wilbur Ross is a rich business guy, so far not running for president. But you never know with Wilbur. He's an unpredictable kind of a guy. Wilbur, always good to have you, my friend. Now, what do you make of the fact that Donald Trump, whatever his wealth, whatever his controversy, he is certainly embracing the wealth part of it, doesn't care if he's controversial, and he's not looking back in the polls? What do you make of that?
Well, I think there's a substantial part of the American public that likes the general tone of what Donald is saying. They like the idea of being a successful businessman, especially one who doesn't hide from it. If anything, Donald flaunts it rather than hides from it. So I think there's an honesty to what he says. I think it remains to be seen whether he will come up with really detailed programs and detailed initiatives and a real platform so that people can then make a truly informed judgment about his candidacy versus others.
Do you think, though, that the fact that he embraces his wealth and is not worried about his wealth, and that he also talks honestly about when he strategizes about taxes, he wants to pay the least in taxes. He says that that's just what a business guy does. A lot of people look at that and say, well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, nothing untoward there. What do you think of that?
Well, I think that the American public rewards honesty and candor. And Donald is certainly very candid in everything that he says. And I think the reason that people don't object to it is that he's not trying to hide from it. He's not trying to hide from tax returns. He's not trying to hide from being wealthy, not really trying to hide from anything. And I think that's a message that other wealthy Republican candidates might very well heed.
You know, I was thinking of that. Do you think Mitt Romney, had he embraced his wealth more, it would have been a different result?
Yeah, I think it would have been a different result in several regards. To give the Democrats 6 weeks free hits on him because he refused to release his income tax return was plain silly. He had to know that he was eventually going to have to release it, so why not get it out in front, not give them all that time to conjure up images? And you notice when he finally did release them, there was no there.
Yeah, you're right. Real quickly, you know, the administration, according to some coal industry CEOs, some other energy CEOs, they think that there's a war on traditional energy, fossil fuels, and by executive edict. And despite the Supreme Court slapping down the EPA and saying you have to weigh the cost of whatever rules or regulations you're imposing, a lot of these guys are just telling me, well, they double down on it. They're doing more of it. What do you make of what the White House is doing here?
Well, as you know, we sold our coal business quite a few years ago, because we became convinced that the Obama administration was determined to destroy the industry. And being a private sector person, all we could do, it happens we got a good price, but all we could do was get out of the way. I think it's very sad, and a question I would ask the administration, how many jobs is it worth for a theoretical reduction in U.S. share of emissions? We're only 5% of the global share of emissions. I don't see any other countries moving as radically as the EPA wants America to move. Why are we not having everybody in lockstep so that the other 95% comes down symmetrically to ours?
Good points all. Wilbur, good seeing you again. Thank you very much.